Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this is really a part 2 broadcast. I very recently just did a broadcast not only going alphabetically down the line of Epstein's Black Book, but also going over many of the different politicians, both on the left and the right, spanning many decades now, and their donations to him, and their connections to him, and how this whole thing works. So, I thought that we would do a part 2 and pick up where we left off. We were only on B, on the Little Black Book. We're going to take your questions. So, any kind of relevant question or comment regarding Epstein, we're going to take it right here. Was Mother Teresa's number in the Little Black Book? I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'll get to that level yet. But you know what? For you, and to let everybody know what an AMA broadcast this is really going to be, we will type in Mother Teresa Epstein. Teresa. Killed in brawl. Jeffrey Epstein. Jail. I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not seeing anything there related. So we just kind of wasted our time. But like I said, get real Epstein questions in there and we will go over it. But for right now, let's start where we left off. The last person we did was a hotel mogul. But now Alec Baldwin. We all know about Alec. He likes to play Donald Trump on SNL. Not so much anymore. They just held auditions for it. But he's a big opponent to this administration. So once again, showing that this guy had contacts on both sides of the aisle. Although he denies knowing Epstein, he is in the Black Book. Recently, Baldwin invited Julie K. Brown, the Miami Herald reporter who resurfaced the Epstein story, to do a podcast. So, hey, at least he did a podcast with Julie Brown of the Herald. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to go down a couple of these, and then we're going to go to the political ones as well and donations. But we should also mention Steve Bannon. That's right. A lot of people don't want to talk about the Bannon connection, but let's read what they have to say, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Bannon connection. In August 2018, the New York Post reported that Bannon had been seen entering Epstein's townhouse. Neither Bannon nor Epstein has commented on the substance of their meeting. But when Ivanka Trump condemned Roy Moore's campaign in Alabama, saying there's a special place in hell for people who prey on children, Bannon, who backed Moore, responded, "What about the allegations about her dad and that 13-year-old? It was a clear reference to the woman who had accused Donald Trump and Epstein of raping her when she was 13. And that's the Katie Johnston allegation. And Bannon plays hardball, but let me explain to you what all of that was. Let's show you Bannon and Epstein and how this happened. I'm going to give you some inside baseball on this one. Okay, so here we go. Page 6, and we covered it at We Are Change when I was working there. And the interesting thing about that is this was just before the elections, okay? So just before the elections, the midterms, he's meeting with Jeffrey Epstein. I would imagine about funding, about pushing one. But I don't know what happened in that meeting. But just to let everybody know that this is on all sides of the aisle, right and left, Bannon's meeting with him. So where does this information come from? Okay, Mike Cernovich, look for the interview by WRC. Let's see if I can pull it up because I want to show you which one it is. Mike Cernovich says that information, let's see, We Are Change. Let's see if it comes up. It's so hard to find our stuff, guys. There it is. No. Why is Steve Bannon meeting with Jeffrey Epstein? That's one thing. That's one of the videos we did on it. But anyway, it's over there. Find it. If you can find Cernovich on there, he says that the information came from Roger Stone. So Roger Stone may have ratted out Steve Bannon meeting with Epstein. I don't know that for sure because let me tell you something. We asked him about it, and he said, well, if that did happen, I would have a very stern talking to with Steve Bannon about it. Guess what? Steve Bannon did Mike Cernovich's show maybe 2 or 3 days after. So if you can find the date in which Cernovich did that interview with Bannon, go back 2 or 3 days and We Are Change, and that's when he told us this information. He didn't bring it up. He didn't ask him on air whether or not he had just met with Jeffrey Epstein? I want you to think about that. Think about it long and hard. And you know what? I need to tell, what's his name, that information. Mike Stranahan. Or Lee Stranahan. Because he's doing some interesting work there. So let's see. Donald Barr. So remember, a lot of people said that Donald Barr was the one that hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School. Remember, these are just the black book in order alphabetically. We're on B right now, guys. And we're going to go to some questions in a moment. Donald Barr is the father of the current Attorney General. Now, it appears that he was already out of there and didn't recruit him, but he definitely was in that black book. So Barr was ousted shortly before Epstein, 21, without a college degree, showed up for the first day of work teaching the physics at the Manhattan elite Dalton School in the early 1970s. Flickoff, thank you so much. Is there any chance of a future collab with Luke? I hope so. I guess we'll see. It would really be up to him, you know. Yeah, I honestly, you know, it was just as much a shock to me, guys, at that point that I was leaving We Are Change as anybody else. Certainly not what I wanted to do. Well, you know, go watch the 20K AMA for a better layout of that. But I hope we collab. Let's see. Barr announced his resignation soon after in February 1974. He was disliked by the faculty. He was highly controversial. He hasn't raised much money. He has very conservative, said the board's chairman. Barr's leadership style was described as authoritarian and undemocratic at the time. Memorably, several former students told the New York Times that Epstein was overly familiar with teenage girls at the school. Donald's son William would intersect with Epstein's orbit while serving as counsel at Kirkland and Ellis. Remember, he recused himself from that initial DOJ reopening of the case that ended up saying that it had to stand. All right? The law firm secured Epstein had obscenely lenient 2007 non-prosecution deal, which the Justice Department is now reviewing. They were no longer really reviewing it. It looks like it's going to stand. Barr, the son, refused to recuse himself from the ongoing Epstein investigation. Yes, this current one, he has not recused himself. So we're going to go to your questions in a second, guys. But I want to get to a couple of these as well. So Epstein also tried to donate more than $4,000 to former Senator Jeff Bingham, a Democrat from New Mexico, but Bingham returned the money. Of course, they all return it right afterwards. He received $4,000 in 3 separate donations on December 17, 1993. He returned to Epstein that same day. That's interesting. So in 1993, he returned it then? Well, if he knew something then in the 90s before anybody else, why in the world wouldn't you say anything? But I guess only half of that money went away. Interesting. Epstein donated another $1,000 to Bingham in October 1994. So maybe he did take all this money and then just recently gave it back as soon as possible. Former Senator Joe Lieberman, a Democrat turned independent from Connecticut, received $3,000 from Epstein. And when is this? 94 and 99 in 3 separate donations. Remember, buying both sides of the aisle. Tom McMillan, he's the big, tall ex-basketball player in that video with Trump and all those cheerleaders, by the way. That's him right there. So he's not just... See, all right, let me explain how this also works. Yes, he's donating money, but there's also back-end money through other organizations, and that's all he can donate. Like, you look at this, 1990 and 2092, right? I believe that video is him in 92 at Mar-a-Lago. Well, they're also partying together with cheerleaders, traveling around with one another, probably making backdoor business deals on top of everything. That's how the system works. Oh, look, they're Republican, because it's not about right or left. It's about right and wrong. It's about buying both sides. Retired Senator Alphonse D'Amato, a New York Republican, received $2,000 from Epstein. Epstein made 2 donations of $1,000, each in 92 and 97, according to the Center of Research Politics. All right, guys. I also want to remind everybody that earlier today I did an entire thing on Epstein's jail records and a state senator in Florida being threatened by what she believes to be people in law enforcement for getting into this and trying to make this into a criminal probe. Nobody in the national media is really talking about that. So go check that video out if you haven't. We're going to continue with this. I want to remind everybody I'm doing 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 videos a day. Burmese Brigade just became 27,000 strong, thanks to you guys. If you're new to this channel, now's the time to subscribe. We do deep dives here. Again, we don't take sides. We call it like we see it, and we'll talk about everything in an honest and open fashion. So if you like that sort of thing, ring the bell. You can take part in the conversation. We do these Ask Me Anythings as well. And if you really want to support me, I also have a GoFundMe. We're almost a third of the way there, and we're about a third of the way through the month, so that's great. We're just on pace. I can't thank you guys enough for allowing me to do this and hopefully bring you unbiased information in a digestible manner that you can share with others. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty and start talking to you guys. All right, we got to scroll up here. And remember, I'll take all super chats, and I'll try to take everything in order. All right. I saw a picture you showed on another channel. They claimed it was Buffalo Gills, and the Epstein arrived with another man, and that Trump stopped by the party to check if going okay. I'm not sure what that is. Red Cross steals your money. Okay, that's all me just talking there. Good evening, everyone. We already covered that one. Love you from Tel Aviv. Well, thank you very much. What's in the little black book? Well, the little black book, to tell the story, is the book that was smuggled out by a butler who worked for Epstein. Now, because he smuggled, and this is just one residence, by the way, and I believe it was the Florida residence. Bradley Edwards talked about him. He does more jail time than Epstein does for his crimes, by the way. And then when he gets out, he dies. That's a true story. So we only have the little black book because somebody smuggled it out because they couldn't stand what was going on. And remember, we've talked about Jane Doe 43 and her lawsuit and those unsealed documents at length in a video probably from a month and a half ago, where it says that many of these people were employed by Epstein and part of the network, whether it be their maid or the pilots or the butlers, et cetera, et cetera. They helped it along. They kept their mouths shut. They signed non-disclosures. All right, so what do we got? All right, there's literally Epstein fallout every day. Listen, because now the mainstream media is digging in, and they feel like it's okay to dig in, and now, people with money and resources are trying to one-up one another. They're looking at this now, maybe, really, as the next Me Too. So who's going down? I'm not saying that this isn't controlled. I'm not saying that Epstein doesn't have the resource to put out a lot of disinformation as well. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to be covering their ass because obviously they had relationships with them. All those things have happened. They all have happened. You got to have discernment. But you look how deep the Daily Beast has gone in and the Miami Herald and the documents they're getting. I mean, I give them nothing but props. When you have the bare facts, when you have the documents from the Clinton Library and FOIA requests, that's a huge thing. Was Nicole Kidman's father involved? I have not seen his name in anything, but apparently from reports in Australia, he was not a very good man. They're out there. Those reports are very real. Alec Baldwin, how you guys doing? How you doing there, Alec? Let's see. I wonder how many of those little black books there really are. Apparently, there's one at every residence. Heard a report that Epstein says he doesn't remember what happened. Oh, at his at the jail? I don't know. I got to check it out. Hi from Portugal. Love your investigative work, Jason. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much from Portugal. Appreciate that. Hello, Brian. Please no Keanu. Well, let's hope not Keanu's in there. I mean, then all those fake memes attributed to Keanu Reeves that he's never said or done, they really can't be true, because if they were, it'd be horrible, because he'd be a horrible person to be in this black book. I don't know that Keanu Reeves is in there. This is back when 108 people were watching, 20 thumbs up. Yeah, thumb it up, guys. Let's get this info out there so we can do more of these broadcasts, so we can grow as a channel. When we hit 30K, we're going to do another AMA, and it's going to really open up the channel a lot. What's up with Matt Damon and John Cusack? I don't know. I like a lot of Cusack's movies too, and a lot of them, Grosse Pointe Blank and War Inc. in particular, really take on the military-industrial complex in a smart and savvy way. That's tough for me. I wish they would expand their mind a little bit. Damon, Damon worked with the Weinsteins. He had to see the hypocrisy in acting. If you look at his early career, he talks about wanting to commit suicide because it wasn't as further along as he needed it to be. acting man fame, that ego stuff, that ego, a camera in your face all the time, no privacy whatsoever, no personal life, living up to an image, constantly being somebody else. I don't know if I'd like that lifestyle. Will vaccines become mandatory for welfare recipients? That's not what we're talking about. So, I mean, possibly. I don't know. I haven't seen any kind of national legislation. Thumbs it up. Crack my screen. Do you now know something about whose parents? I don't know what you're talking about. You'll find it easier on DuckDuckGo. I'm not sure. Vaccines. Why are we talking about this? YouTube, We Are Change Cernovich. Yes, that's where you can find all that information. When we get down to Flick Off, we're going to start going back over a lot of these contacts. Would be surprised to find out that Roger Stone went to Island. Listen, Roger Stone is not a good person, guys. Roger Stone is one of the godfathers of lobbying, one of the most evil institutions that have totally fucked us out of a real government of checks and balances for a long time, that have helped this leviathan of a military-industrial complex, a media-industrial complex, an intelligence-industrial complex, a technopoly grow in front of our eyes and restrict our freedoms. Not a fucking good guy. Let me get that out of the way. I'd love to talk to Roger Stone. I'd be respectful, but I would bring up all those things. In the name of money and power, Roger Stone will do whatever. Remember, he was a consultant in Nexium at one point, too, along with Doug Rutnick, the father of Gillibrand, who's running for president. She's a senator, not a state senator, a real senator in my state. And, she acted like she didn't know anything about Nexium. Her dad worked for them and then got her cousin out and then married her. That's a fact, Jack. So we're going to come back to these, and we're going to go back to these two articles. We're going to go hit the Intelligencer, and like I said, this is a New York Magazine article, awesome, and this is an Insider article, awesome. Again, we can't have people pulling punches. All right, Tom Barak, Trump advisor and private equity manager, name found in Epstein's Black Book. In Fire and Fury, Michael Wolff wrote that Trump, Epstein, and Barak were a set of nightlife musketeers in the 80s and 90s. And that very well could be true. Let's see what Tom Barak looks like. Let's look him up. Let's do some live stuff here. Tom Barak. Bam. There he is. Just kicking it old school. American private equity real estate investor. Yeah. Let's party. All right, let's continue on. Sandy Berger. Oh, National Security Advisor for Bill Clinton. Here's a little something about Sandy Berger that a lot of people aren't going to know. Let's type in Sandy Berger and 9/11 and find out what he did. I mean, he couldn't have done something just so totally outrageous during the 9/11 commission that you wouldn't believe it, right? I mean, this guy, he couldn't be compromised, could he? Huh? Sandy Berger only fined $50,000 for what? For taking documents. This is an old school article. This is down the memory hole here. In 2005, he had to do community service and probation and fined $50,000 for illegally removing highly classified documents from the National Archive and intentionally destroying some of them. So he didn't just take them. He destroyed them. Do you get that? These are the type of people that are in the Black Book. Clinton's national security advisor goes well beyond that. Do you get it? It's not about right or left. This is during the Bush administration. He's still a lackey for the national security state, for the military-industrial complex. Take a look. I'm glad that the 9/11 Commission has made it clear that it received all the documents that it sought, all the documents that it needed, and I'm pleased to finally have this matter resolved. Fuck you, Sandy Berger, and everybody you worked with, you piece of shit. How about that? Let's take a look at this asshole. Oh, man, there he is! Smuggling him in his pants. Read about it. That's buried down the memory hole. I had to go 4 down just to find that archive of that article. And that's damn well what he's known about for 9/11. I promise you that. He ain't known about nothing else. So let's continue on. Let's see. Nicolas Berggruen, billionaire investor, also in the black book. This guy just knows everybody, huh? Let's pop him in. See what he looks like. This guy right here. What's he an investor in? Let's find out. He's an American dual citizen, also a German citizen, and president of Berggruen Holdings, a private investment company and institute. So there you go. I mean, I would imagine that he's a philanthropist. He's in the arts. So once again, when you go to the art world, and it seems like this guy is pretty heavy in the art world, that also plays into Epstein's scam of procuring young women in the modeling and art worlds again and again and again. Let's go back to here. And we're going to go back to your questions in a moment. Remember, I'm going to take all your super chats for sure, and we're just going to go down the line and go to the relevant Epstein comments and questions. The New Mexico Democrat John J. Kelly received $2,000 from Epstein for his unsuccessful congressional bid. Epstein made 2 donations of $1,000 each in Kelly in 2000, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. Epstein gave former U.S. Rep. Rick Lazio a Republican. Do we see a theme here? I'm so glad we're doing this video because it's not one side of the spectrum, because both sides of the spectrum work for the same people. They work for the almighty dollar and the powerful and the military-industrial complex and the businesses that surround them. That's what they do. He's from New York's 2nd District. He took $2,000 in 1996. All right, let's keep going. U.S. Rep. Wayne Owens, a Utah Democrat, taking money in the 90s from him. Again, both sides. Bob Packwood, I remember Packwood. Back in 91, he was taking them. He's a Republican senator from Oregon. Packwood resigned from the Senate in 95 following allegations of sexual harassment. I remember. Man, that's a long time ago. Epstein donated $2,000 to Delaware Democrat Charles Auberly III for his unsuccessful Senate bid in 94. Again, buying both sides. So let's go back to your questions, guys. And hopefully it doesn't jump too far on me. Let's go there, right? We already did that. Duck, duck, go. Easy. Hey, Johnny. All right, John Ratcliffe announced the head of intelligence for Trump's admin. All right, that's interesting. I'm going to have to look that up. Thank you, Josh. So there's a new head of intelligence, huh? All right. Is it true Google takes 30% of your super? That's exactly what they take. Let me lay it out for you. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. I have a GoFundMe, by the way, guys, just to let everybody know that's how we're doing this. Here, let me see if I can find my mouse because I got 4 things. I do have a GoFundMe. They take much less. I think they take 3%, if that. It's 3% and 30 cents a transaction. So obviously that's better for me. But guys, if you're new to this, please, we do deep dives, ask me anything, documents, interviews, 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 videos a day, walk and talks, you name it. So subscribe, join the Burmese Brigade. We just hit 27K. We're on the road to 30K. That also helps a tremendous amount. But the other thing that's great about the Super Chats, guys, is that it encourages YouTube. You know, they're already getting some revenue from me, but I'm demonetized on every video. I have to manual review every video. So the algorithm isn't putting me out there as much. I have about a 5+% click impression click rate, which is okay, but it would be so much more if it was suggested 50 to 80% more. And it just sucks because I got nothing but love in my heart for these people. I'm trying to do a real broadcast. I'm trying to bring down the criminal class, the predator class. I'm not preaching hate. I'm not on a side. I don't hate anybody. This isn't hate speech. This is us coming together against verifiable monsters. That's how I look at it. That's how I feel about it. So let's get back to the questions and comments here. So let's see what we got here. So yeah, they take the 30%, but I want to encourage it. PayPal takes 3% of my donation on my website. Yes, I do have a PayPal. I haven't put that in there. I have a Bitcoin address now underneath if you want to do crypto. That's awesome. And I never check it, so it's kind of a surprise if it ever happens. Hey, Mr. Cotter. Everybody's talking about that picture. I've seen the memes. Great work, Jason. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Let's continue on down. Have I mentioned how much I like to drag these people through the streets Gaddafi style? Listen, man, I'm not trying to preach any kind of violence. The thing is that in a jail cell and with other people like that is going to be extremely, extremely uncomfortable, and it's not going to be something that they enjoy. I promise you that. All right? So, and I'd rather see them. I don't want to quick out for these people. You know, they should be punished for what they've done, but I'm not here to cause sadistic violence on anybody either. He only returned part of that money. I think we're talking about, yeah, that one politician. Politics, the greatest deception ever believed by the general public. You got that damn straight. Was the Little Black Book his only address book? No, it was not. In fact, Bradley Edwards, a lawyer who's still in the mix in this, still representing a lot of people, actually bringing out new victims within the last couple weeks when we got this new investigation into allegations that the Palm Beach Police Department not only took $128,000 for private security, but they didn't properly observe him during his work release program. I was saying that forever. Okay? So Brad Edwards says that there were black books at all these different locations. So again, when we talk about flight logs and black books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what we're really talking about is just a fraction of the information we really have. Just to put it out there. All right? Let's see. Cheerleaders, pageantized, I don't know what that means. Where does Justin Trudeau fit into this? I'm not sure. I have to get my friends from Press for Truth on, my Canadian friends. Whoa, let's see. Man, there's a lot up here. There we go. Back to it. Is Epstein in Italy? Why would he be in Italy? Do you believe that? Where's the evidence for that? Is that on 8chan or 4chan or 67chan? Like, what's going on? Jason, how would I contact you about a possible time gig for early October with 40 minutes from Oneana? I might be able to expand your audience. Shoot me a DM. I'm trying to get through all of them. It's getting harder and harder, but shoot me a DM over in Twitter. Let me know what you want to do. Voting should be on the blockchain so you could see your vote. Well, I don't even want a digital blockchain that might be able to be manipulated by smarter people. I want paper ballots and human beings counting them on video. Listen, the technology is there. Humans and technology can work with one another. It's a double-edged sword every time, guys. You know what I mean? You know, I can be enslaved by my phone, for instance, and sit there and take selfies all day and interact and be petty and, you know, be upset and just talk smack on social media, et cetera, and post this and that. Or, you know, I can use it while I walk my dog to do a walk and talk to kind of let my audience know what I'm thinking about and other videos and information that's out there and try to use it as a tool to reach people. I can take a hammer and I can bash myself in the head with it once and probably end the game. Or I could take it, take some time, get some other tools, some nails and some wood, and I'll build a house, build whatever. So, you know, we have the technology to have real and fair elections. We just don't like to use it because the people at the top enjoy staying on top and they love the corruption that ensues, period. All right. Anyone notice the rusty colored froth in the seas in the latest Shackleford Island videos? I have not. I sincerely doubt it. Yeah. Epstein would be in jail unless the Dems get... Oh, it's all about the Dems and the Republicans, right? You just saw, you know, through the years, he's buying out both sides. But let's not lose sight of the missing children from the detention camps and Trump's connection to Epstein and the snuff tape from... Again, you'd have to prove all that stuff. Again, if it's on a message board, it doesn't make it true. If you have anonymous sources at the Gateway Pundit, it doesn't make it true. All right? Yeah, we have to build on real shit. And there's plenty of real shit out there. And with that being said, guys, we're almost at the 30-minute mark. We're going to continue with these, by the way. I want to go back to that real quick and show you where we are. We're making a series out of this just because there's so much here. But yeah, we're still on the B's on this New York article, the people in the Black Book. And I think we're only on what? The O's? Yeah. And we might be almost done with this one, maybe clean it up. But these are some of the donations through the years to political figures. So if you enjoyed this video and you're new to the game, please subscribe right now. Thumbs this video up. Share it with people. Join the Burmist Brigade. We're doing real videos about real topics. It's not about left or right. It's always been about right and wrong. And like I said, if you can support me, that's how I'm doing it. It's not bullshit. I'm not going to promise you a Skype session. I don't have a Patreon or a Subscribe Star. I hate that pandering nonsense. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to try to do the best I can. And I'm just trying to live a decent life for me and my family. And hopefully, we can do that for one another and have that love and show that love and say, hey, Google, YouTube, I know you're run by real people. Let's not ban independent voices. So that being said, I'll see everybody on the flip side.